Just like that. We're live. Do we have filter action? Let's see. Do we have filters? Oh, they are here. Oh, yes. Hold up, guys. There it is. Do we like this? Or do we like this? We like this. Hi, everyone. This is exciting. Thank you so much for coming to my live. Raise your hand if you are a mama or a dada or someone who's interested in becoming a mama or dada. I want to see some hands. Can you guys hear me? Let's see. Oh, I see Shane. Hi, Shane. My cousin's in here. Hi, Mom. What's up? Yep, I'm a mom. Oh, I see Billy Kelliott. What up? Hey, girl. Hey, I see some hands. Oh my gosh, so many hands. So many people. Oh, this is so fun. First of all, I apologize for being late to my own live. I planned to do it earlier, but we had some friends pop by, and so we became just social butterflies. We never get to do that because once you're a parent, you don't typically socialize as much as you did prior to becoming a parent. So it's nice when people come and visit. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. This is so fun. Who's ready to jump in? Are you ready to jump into all this stuff? Because I'm ready to answer some questions. I'm ready to, first of all, I want to thank my partners, Anna Louisa, who convinced me to do this live. They're the ones that I collaborated on my mama necklace with. It is still available, so if any of you mamas out there, or if you know mamas, or you're a mama-to-be, go ahead and check out analuisa.com/Daniella Monet. The links are in my highlight, so check that out, and I'll put it on my story afterwards. Okay, I am reading some of your questions, a lot of Victoria's questions. Okay, hold up. I see all the, Maddie Wagner is going to be a mama in May, and so is my cousin Janessa. So if you want someone to follow, you can follow her because you guys are both due in May, Janessa Maria L. That's exciting. All right, let's go back down. Here we go. People are asking if I miss being on Victorious. Of course. Some of the best years of my life. A lot of questions about a reunion. Interesting. Oops. I love that you guys are big fans. This is awesome. Okay. Wow, a lot of Victoria's questions. Hold on. Oh, a lot of reunion questions. Oh, someone said that they might get this necklace for their mom. It is so cute. I don't know how much what is happening to my face? Where are my eyebrows? What just happened? I'm distorted. Hold up. What is happening? Terrifying. Okay, we're back. All right, so, someone asked, what was the struggles becoming a mom? A lot of struggles, you guys. Not gonna lie here. I don't think I had a rough go, but I do feel like reality hit me pretty quickly when we became parents. There's a lot that I wasn't fully prepared for. I think sleepless nights was probably top of list. I'm not a huge sleeper. I'm not a sleepy person. I don't take naps, so on and so forth. So I thought that I would be totally fine not getting full night's sleep. And there were times in my pregnancy, or not my pregnancy, in the last 3-4 months where I just felt like I was losing my mind. Like, sleep deprivation is a real thing. So that was something that I wasn't fully prepared for. And we just recently got almost full nights of sleep in the last week, which has come with its own little interesting learning curves, which I can chat about. I'm going to answer some more questions. Gotten a swing. It would have helped with naps so much. Girl, why haven't you gotten a swing? It would have a swing. Interesting. That is a good question. Why haven't I gotten a swing for Gio? I don't know. That's a great question. You want to know why? I actually had the four moms, the little one that goes like this that we had on the table when he was like a newborn, and he ended up not liking it. I don't think he liked the mechanical feeling of the motion, so it never dawned on me to actually get him a swing. That's brilliant. But second to that, he is taking naps now. He's napping right now. It's just his naps aren't very long, but they are frequent. So he sleeps almost every single 2 hours for at least 30 minutes and at most sometimes an hour. So we are getting naps, which, to be completely honest, I don't want to be reliant on anything. So some of the things that I've sort of started getting rid of is he doesn't rely on a pacifier. We haven't had a pacifier for over a week now. I think that's one of the reasons why he's sleeping through the night, because if the pacifier falls out of their mouth and they wake up during the night and they don't have the pacifier in their mouth, it takes a lot longer for them to self-soothe. So if he learns how to self-soothe without anything, without a pacifier, without any sort of like soothing without feeding, then he's going to sleep better regardless. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't gotten reliant on swings, or some people suggest all kinds of different things, but that's one of the reasons. Someone asked me if I'm a virgin. No, I have a child that came out of my body. Okay, hold on. Someone said they're due in October and they have the worst morning sickness ever. So due in October, you are how far along? I can't do the math. So I'm sorry that you're having morning sickness. That's obviously completely normal, and typically it's a good sign. It means your hormones are strong and your baby is healthy. So try to just remember, my biggest piece of advice for you is just try to remember that everything is temporary. It will go by fast. You will eventually be, even if you're sick your whole pregnancy, in reality, the 9 months feels like a complete blur to me. It feels like it went by so fast that I promise you it's worth it. Just try to stick in it. Oh, try to stick in it. There's really no choice. You have the baby in your belly now. What I mean is try to hang in there and just do the things that feel, comforting to you, and try to just realize this is it. There's a lot of changes in your body right now. You're going to be fine. Someone said, is your baby going to be vegan? My baby is going to be vegan, likely. He is vegan, obviously, as of now. We breastfeed exclusively, and he has tried 2 different foods. He is just under 5 months. He'll be 5 months next Friday. And I wanted to introduce food slowly and not have it become, obviously, what he's getting his sole nutrients from. So we breastfeed all throughout the day, and then he's just sort of experimenting with food. So the first thing he tried was bananas, and the second thing was avocado. And if you're going to ask me how it went, I guess it went relatively well. He has like the desire for it. He just has no idea how to swallow the food. Like, he's learning how to swallow the food. I know that sounds so silly because you think like we're so innately, we're human. We should know how to eat, but babies have only had like a liquid formula or breast milk, so they don't really know how to deal with like the consistency of food. So the last thing he tried was avocado, and although he seemed to love it, as soon as it went down into his throat, he started gagging, and it was kind of scary because we thought he was choking, but it was just like a reflex because he was just like, what is in my throat? So that's how that went. We're still going to work on it. And he is going to be vegan. Andrew and I are both vegan. Andrew, I'm sure you're going to ask this question, is he vegan? Has he been vegan? Yes, he is. He's only been vegan for the last 6 months. Out of the 8.5 years that we've been together. He seems to enjoy it. I don't know if he'll stay vegan. I don't know what his plans are, but he's a great cook, and we haven't ran into any issues yet with all of that. And so it just makes sense for Gio to grow up vegan. I think the reason for that, there's a lot of them, but one of them is just, I think we'll have that open, honest conversation at some point where, at home and with our family, we are vegan. And the reason being is we love animals and we don't want to eat them. It's pretty simple. But again, he's his own human being, and at some point he'll be able to make decisions for himself, and I'm not going to be overbearing. I just think that as long as I instill the values that matter to me, that, hopefully he'll care about those same things. And if not, I'm still going to love him so much. Okay, let's see. Someone asked me if I speak Spanish. I do not, unfortunately. Actually, my dad's side of the family does. And when I was a lot younger, I did speak more Spanish, and a lot younger. I'm talking 2-3 years old. And then it never stuck. So I don't speak really anything other than English and maybe a tiny, teeny bit of Italian. But not even that, to be honest. It's kind of a shame. Okay. Someone said I'm due in March. I'm due March 14th. Any tips? March 14th. So any tips? Have you taken pregnancy pictures? Please do if you haven't. Even if they're casual on your iPhone, have someone do them for you. It's such a, you're at this point, like that, the pregnancy of March, yeah, you're due in no time. I took pregnancy pictures almost up until the 6 days before Gio was due. I was taking pictures of my belly, and I'm so grateful that I did, because they make me so happy, and I think it's so cool that you can go from being incredibly pregnant to incredibly not pregnant in literally a blimp. The second that baby comes out, it's like, whoa, I'm not pregnant anymore. So enjoy it. I know sometimes it's challenging, and it may not be the most comfortable at all times, but it will be over at some point, and you just want to remember those moments when your baby's just in you and safe and all to yourself, because the second your little one comes out, family, friends, the world, they're all involved. And it's kind of a interesting dynamic. So enjoy them, or her, or it, whatever it is, to yourself. You only have less than a month. Let's see what else. Someone said, how is your baby? He's doing well. Like I said, he'll be 5 months, and he is growing. He's a lot more calm, a lot more less fussy. I think in the first 2-3 months is when I was still trying to figure him out. If you're a mom, you know about schedules. I didn't have Gio on a schedule for a while. I wasn't really thrilled with the way that worked. I felt really tied down to the idea of having to constantly be treating things like it's almost like robotic, and I don't think babies are robotic, and I know that they can learn very quickly, but I preferred to kind of wait until it felt organic, which around 4 months is when I sort of implemented a loose schedule where he was taking naps at certain times and he was feeding roughly around the same times, and it all just felt a lot more natural and not forced. And so that's really worked for us. And so he's doing well. Someone asked me, how do you balance everything? And I don't know, because I don't feel like I'm really balanced right now, to be a hundo with you guys. I used to work out 5-6 times a week. I don't even work out barely once a week anymore. I used to have all my ducks in a row with work. I was far more motivated than I am now. And I have a lot of responsibilities that I care about, but I just feel like things fall through the cracks when you have a little one, because they become your priority, and nothing else seems as important as it once did. So that part is something I'm trying to adjust to. I used to be a lot busier, and I don't know. It's just your life changes so drastically. So I cannot drive that message home enough. It changes so drastically. So I think I'm still acclimating to that, yet I'm really enjoying it. I freaking love being a mom. I think it's the best thing I've ever been. There's nothing like it. You could be in, this is such a stupid analogy, but it's like you could be in movies, TV shows. You can do all the things that people aspire to do because they think it's so cool and there's so much glory around it. But there's something about being a mom that fulfills me more than anything. So I guess I'm just trying to balance everything around him. Interesting. Someone asked, has your podcast helped your relationship? Yeah, it has actually, in a lot of ways. First of all, keep in mind, Andrew quit his job 2 weeks after having Gio. He had a full-time job. He worked in finance, essentially. He's actually a trained CPA, which is an accountant, but he ended up getting into sales for this company. And when we had Gio, he just realized he couldn't see himself back at work doing this long commute and being gone all day. So when we started the podcast, it was literally pretty much, we started recording when Gio was 4 weeks old. So that was ambitious. Thinking back, it's so ambitious. But in a weird way, it was so incredibly beneficial for us, because what we didn't realize is that when you have a baby, you don't typically have the same time or energy to connect. And so Adulting Like a Mother Father came in right at the right time, and we have been able to work through a lot. And although it's kind of weird that we do it on the show, it's actually really nice. Something about doing it on the show holds us accountable, so that's been really helpful. Let's see. Oh, I love everyone talking about Victoria's. Okay, what did you pack in your hospital bag? This is an interesting question because I never intended to have Gio in a hospital. My birth plan was to have him at a natural birth center that was located next to Cedars Hospital in Beverly Hills. And because I had a situation, like about a week before he was due, I was in a car accident, not anything super serious, but my body just kind of went through shock. And so he pooped in the womb, which means he was in what they call meconium, which can be really scary for babies because if they inhale it, they can suffocate. They could also get an infection, and it's really dangerous. And I found out that he was in the meconium the night of my car accident. So the way the day went was I was working out with Tori. It was about 11 a.m., I think. And after I worked out with Tori, I went to go get a smoothie. And while I was pulling into the parking lot, someone wasn't looking as they were backing out, and they backed right into my driver's side door. So I physically saw the car coming right at my face. And that shock just like really hit me, and physically and emotionally. And I kind of like lost it for a couple hours. What I realized was this is probably not good for my body. I have my car seat in this car. I couldn't close my door. I was driving a Prius at the time. And so I took it to the body shop, even with my door barely closing. I dropped it off. Then I had to walk, 9 months pregnant, 6 days before I was due. No, it was less than 6 days. Yeah, 6 days before I was due. And I had to walk to go to Enterprise rent a car. They only had two options. One was like this big chunky van, and then one was this like red Kia SUV. And so I was like, whatever, just give me the safest car. That was all I cared about. I had to get that car. Then I called Andrew. I said, can you come home from work? Because I don't know how to get the car seat out of the Prius, and I need to make sure that our new rental car has a car seat because God forbid I go into labor. Sure enough, that night after this whole hoopla of getting the car and whatever, getting the car seat in the car, I ended up waking up in the middle of the night with like liquid coming out of me, and the liquid was a green color. And I knew that wasn't right, but I was tired and I wasn't really paying much attention, so I went back to bed. I woke up again and I saw that there was more green color, and so I looked on my phone. I went into my closet and I looked on my phone what that could mean, and I read that it was not a good thing. And so that whole day was kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of a blur. We were basically trying to induce the labor naturally, so I drank castor oil, which was so disgusting. It tastes like lip gloss. It's nasty. And then after a while, I wasn't going into any extreme like labor contractions. I was just feeling baby contractions, kind of like period cramps. And so my midwife at the time suggested that we had to do a hospital birth, and there was really no way around it because I wasn't feeling Gio as much, and that was what was scary. So they were worried that he was, she kept referring to him being sleepy, which meant his heart rate was probably low. And so my midwife said, we can do it at a hospital. I have delivery rights at a hospital that's about an hour and a half from our house. We ended up going that route, and so we drove all the way to this hospital, got there. I was the only one in the maternity ward. Imagine walking to a hospital and there's no one there. And I'm not even a hospital person. I'm not someone who goes to the doctor often. All of it was kind of funky and weird. And so, anyways, they situated us in a room. It was kind of creepy, to be honest. Kind of dark and old and not the vibe. I tried to get over it all. They wanted to put all these needles in me. I'm actually terrified of needles. That was probably one of the biggest reasons I didn't want to be in a hospital, is because I was terrified of needles. They puncture me. I ended up having nerve damage in my hand because they put the needle in the wrong spot. Whatever, that's a whole side story. Long story short, they went through all these different precautions to pump out the meconium in my stomach, flushed me out of all the green stuff, put new fluid in there. Eventually, the little fluid rod fell out of me, so all of the fluid came out of me, and that meant that the baby was literally just sitting on my cervix, and so I started feeling major contractions. I'm telling my birth story, and you're making a coffee. I started feeling such bad contractions for at least 4 hours. And then eventually I wasn't dilating at all. So they checked me after 4 hours of like extreme contractions and realized I wasn't even dilating. And so they said, you need to, what? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, guys. They said that I needed to have an epidural, kind of whether I liked it or not, in order to calm my body down. So they gave me the epidural. The contractions were still super high, but I wasn't feeling anything. The problem is that Gio's heart rate was dropping every time I had a contraction. So then they figured out that the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck. And one thing led to another. They basically just said, there's too many things pointing us in the direction of a C-section. Like, we need to do this right now. And so within 15 minutes, they had a C-section doctor there, wheeled us into the OR room, and then they operated on me. And I am someone who is very scared, typically, of hospital environments, of needles. Needless to say, cutting me open. But what was weird is that I felt at peace because I just knew that the best thing for me and this baby right now is to get him out. And so I just accepted all the circumstances. And within like 15 minutes, Gio was out of my tummy. I didn't really feel anything. Kind of felt like a massage on my stomach. It sounds weird, but I didn't really feel anything. And that was that. And then Andrew and I shared probably the most magical moment that we will probably ever share. I don't know how I got on the story of my whole birth story.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He's making a coffee. Sorry, real quick. Do any of you guys have questions about birth? Just because I went through my whole birth story, I'm curious if you have any questions specific to that. Maybe, obviously I can't speak to having a natural birth, even though that was what I intended to do. I can't speak to having a water birth, which was my original plan. But if anyone out there has any questions about a C-section, I know typically people can be kind of scared of them. I would be happy to answer anything based on my opinion. I'm listening. I'm looking. Wow, you guys are really coming in with the questions. Thank you. Okay. Well, I don't really see much, but I'm going to go through the questions that I do see. Oh gosh, there's a lot of them. So someone said, is it true that every woman passed through depression during pregnancy and did not understand? Passed through depression during pregnancy and do not understand. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'll come back to that one. Is it true that women are programmed to forget the pain of childbirth after a few months? I can't actually speak to that. I think physically, because I had a C-section, I did have some significant healing that I had to do afterwards. I did not know that you basically feel like you can't really walk for a few days. I don't know if this is TMI, but you can't really go to the bathroom on your own. You do have like a catheter so that you could pee out of a bag. And then I think in the last, I'm really trying to do a live here. Yeah. Yeah, basically it's really hard to go to the bathroom, if you know what I mean. So it did take me a little bit of time. I'd say by like week 6. Yeah, week 6, I was like, why does this whole birth thing feel like a blur almost? Why are you trying to make noise intentionally? This is weird. It's not funny anymore.
No, now it's funny.
Does anyone else have like a partner out there that just sometimes wants to be the star of the show? So yeah, I think there is some sort of hormone that comes into play when you give birth that helps you forget about all the pain, because I can't even explain to you what the contractions felt like, but in the moment, everyone in the room thought that I was physically dying. That's how bad it looked like I was in pain. But now it almost feels like, I don't know. I don't know what it felt like. I totally I forgot. Okay. Do you drink anything, to boost up your milk production? That's a great question. No, I don't really do anything specific to first to boost up my milk production. In the beginning, I was craving a lot of oatmeal, and I know that that's really good. And also we drink a lot of almond milk, well, typically oat milk or a variation of milk. But in the beginning, I was drinking a lot more almond milk, and I've heard almonds are really good for your milk production. But more importantly, because I could talk about breastfeeding for an entire actual year, I would suggest not depriving yourself. I know everyone cares about getting their body back. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of people care about getting their body back after pregnancy and after birth. But my biggest advice, if you really do want to breastfeed, is to not deprive yourself, is to drink plenty of water, plenty of water. I mean, I was a fish in the beginning, and I still drink. I have my water bottle from my very first trimester of pregnancy with me every single second of the day. I'm always drinking water. So that would be one of my biggest pieces of advice. And then also to just eat really whole, nutritious, I would recommend plant-based food because there's a lot of nutrition in plants, especially if you're breastfeeding. Now, a lot of people think that if you're eating fruits and vegetables, that you can give gas to your baby through your milk. And yes, that may be true. Especially, I would recommend in the first 2 months of breastfeeding to eat really gentle foods on your stomach. And I know this is going to sound annoying because you're going to care about, maybe you'll care about carbs and things like that because you're like, oh, my body, whatever. I didn't. I ate tons of carbs, tons of really gentle foods, not super strong tasting, not super garlicky, no spices. And that really helped Gio in the beginning because babies, when they're first born, their digestive system is so incredibly sensitive that you want to just eat foods that you feel like would sit well in their stomach and not trickle through your milk. Now, I feel like I'm eating tons more fruits and vegetables, cooked and raw. Typically cooked is better just because it's easier on your stomach, and then I guess it's a little easier on the baby's stomach, but we don't have any colicky issues with Gio right now, so it's been fine for me to eat the way that I'm used to eating, which is I do eat typically I eat a high-fat diet, so I eat tons of avocado, tons of oils, tons of grains, a lot of fruits and vegetables, a lot of lentils, beans, and nuts and seeds. And so, yeah, that's really helped my milk production just organically. Someone asked, what's the right age to have kids? That's a great question. Speaking from my own feelings, I thought I wanted 6 kids as a kid. Worked at a daycare, babysat. I just love being around kids, work in an entertainment industry where I am a role model to other kids. I would personally say the age that I decided to have Gio, which was 30 years old, 30, was the perfect age for me personally. I thought I was ready before at about 23 years old. I remember looking at Andrew. We were newly dating I was only with him for a little over a year. And I was starting to have these dreams of having babies and dreams of breastfeeding and just wanting so badly to be a mother. And I would tell him this. I'm sure I almost scared him away. But I physically thought my body was ready. Maybe it was. I'm personally grateful that we waited until we were at the age that we are. I'm 30, he's 31. There was a lot of life that we got to live in these last, whatever it's been, 8 years. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the life, the journey, the experiences, the adventures, the travel, the work. I'm grateful that I was able to, in so many ways, set myself up, save money, do different work endeavors, businesses, opportunities, investments, things that I just feel like when you're a mom, like I said, your focus is solely on this being and nothing else matters. And so I can see how, I may have regretted having a child earlier. I don't know if that's the right word because I'm sure that I would just change and you would realize that this is your future and nothing else matters. But I'm just glad that I waited until I was 30, but I think it's different for everyone. Someone asked, do you want more kids? So that's sort of I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm so in love with Gio. I'm so in love with being a mom. Truly, I think it's the most magical thing that Andrew and I have ever experienced together. He's a freaking amazing dad. I'm so lucky. I think we would be great parents to another baby if there is one, but right now we're focusing on him because it's a lot to manage. And I want to make sure that he has a lot of quality time with us. And if we want to have another child, we're probably not ready right now, is my answer. Okay, hold on. Blows my mind how many questions are about Victorious. Someone said, will you ever go back to acting? Yes, I will go back to acting. I think acting will always be a part of my life. I don't really love the politics of the business. I wouldn't say never. I think when I was younger, I was much better with just the whole process, like I was so much more competitive with myself. Now I feel like there's much better things to spend my time and energy on. I also have a lot more purpose in my life right now. I think the companies that I've invested in and co-founding Kinder Beauty has given me a whole nother purpose, and I really feel like I'm actually doing good. And though I still feel that way about acting because I choose to take roles that I feel like do good for other people, like make them laugh and make family-friendly content, I think I struggle with some of the material that I'm getting. If I'm being completely honest, some of the couple auditions that I've gotten since the last 4 months that I've passed on have been like really inappropriate roles that I'm just not thrilled to be a part of. So I do plan to go back to acting. I just think I'm waiting for the right role. Okay, so someone said, can you give any tips or advice for staying full on a vegan diet? Yes, absolutely. So, people say you need a lot of protein. You really don't. The right kind of protein, I'm not going to speak on something I'm not really sure about, but I just don't rely solely on protein. I don't think it's like a huge catalyst for my diet. I think I eat a balanced meal, but I do realize when I eat foods that are a little bit denser or have more protein that I am fuller. So lentils, beans, we eat tons of nuts, nut butters. Is that Andrew? Oh, that was weird. Yeah, so I eat things like that, and, I love grains. I love things that are filling. So I think, yeah. Also, you have to understand, sometimes when you're vegan, your portions are a lot bigger than someone else's meal who's eating meat. Meat is really dense, and it's a lot harder to digest in your body. So you might just have to get used to eating more food that's lesser calories, but just more of it. So I eat salads that look like could feed 4 or 5 people, but that's just what I'm used to. My body's used to eating big portions of food. So anyways, that's me. Someone said, y'all making jokes about Trina, but Daniella is a whole person apart from Trina. That's very nice. Okay, hold on. I'm coming. I'm looking. There's a lot of questions. Okay, sorry you guys. I'm just reading these things. How can I transform into a vegan? My advice for going vegan is you just start one day at a time, one meal at a time. Sometimes just having one vegan meal is an adjustment, and I think the more you do it, the more real it becomes. Some people like to cold turkey, just go for it. That works for some people. Also, you can start with just eliminating meat first and then slowly eliminate dairy and animal byproducts. So that's one way to do it. Or personally, I would get rid of dairy first because a lot of people think that that's the hardest thing to get rid of. And I personally think dairy is the most traumatic and disgusting and terrifying industry that there is. So that's my personal opinion. But I think if you could eliminate dairy first, that would be awesome. Okay, hold on. You have to do, okay, recount. Jesus, there's a lot of things coming on. Where do you want to take Gio on his first ever vacation? Okay, this is a question that I want to open up on a feed post soon because I'm stressing out about taking him on a vacation. We finally have the hang of things and a rhythm here at home, and I get nervous leaving our house and knowing that he's not going to be in some form of a routine, even though he does completely fine. For some reason, Gio loves being out and about. He loves distraction. He loves noise. He loves all of it. It's my personal thing that I get stressed or anxious knowing that we're not going to be in our environment. I got to work on that because turns out I have anxiety now that I never had before. But in terms of vacations, we have one coming up, and I need all the advice that I can get. I think I'm going to try to be super chill about it, but I need to figure out like what an airplane looks like for, he'll be 6 months, you know, like where do you stay? Do you stay in a hotel? What if your baby wakes up in the middle of the night screaming? Like, are you going to upset people, or do you just bite the bullet and get like a vacation home or an Airbnb just so that you could have your, I have no idea. So I have no idea. And I'm a little overwhelmed by the idea of vacation, even though we have one coming. Someone said, is your hair still falling out more now? Absolutely is. I look like I have hair, and I guess I do. During my pregnancy, I felt like I had so much hair. So I feel like if I'm losing a ton of hair, it's probably the hair that I gained during my pregnancy, if that makes sense. But my hair is falling out. A lot of mamas who breastfeed tell me that that's very normal, and that it probably has to do with the fact that when you are breastfeeding, you are giving so many of your own nutrients to your baby, which is kind of a beautiful thing. It's not kind of, it is a fully beautiful thing. I feel like I could do a live on breastfeeding alone because it is so freaking awesome once you get the hang of it, but it's so hard to get the hang of sometimes. So if you're out there and you're breastfeeding, I totally get the struggles. I totally get the emotional journey. Just know that if you can get over the hump, and you can figure it out, it's super cool. It's magical. Like, I'm fully enjoying it now, and this is coming from someone who went through infections, who went through numerous clogs, who is now going through a whole new thing because he's sleeping through the night, so I'm waking up incredibly engorged. And just in case you are breastfeeding, I'm going to leave you with this, and then I'm going to go get him because he's up. If you are breastfeeding and your baby is sleeping through the night and you feed them in the morning before pumping out your boobs because they're so engorged, just know that there is such thing as foremilk and hind milk. Foremilk is a low-fat, high-sugar milk that comes out before the hind milk at the very end of a feed. And hind milk is fattier. So if your baby is only getting the foremilk, that's like the sugary, low-fat kind, it doesn't sit well in their tummy. So in the last 3 or 4 days, we haven't been feeding him through the night, so he's been waking up and getting really full boobs for feeds. And he's been pooping like incredibly green, mucusy, like diarrhea. And I was getting super stressed out. I thought he was sick. I didn't know what was going on. Thought he was teething. I looked up all these things. Turns out it's because I am engorged and I'm feeding him too much foremilk, and he needs more of the hind milk. So I have to wake up a little bit earlier to pump out the foremilk and leave him with more of the hind milk. It's the fattier stuff that sits well in their tummy. So that's a piece of advice that I would share with anyone who's at that 4-month stage, or whenever your baby starts sleeping more throughout the night. You could be 9 months. I have no idea how long it works for every baby's different. So that's my little piece of advice. Gio has literally rolled onto his tummy right now in his crib. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, little nugget. So I'm going to go get him. And if you guys want me to do more of these lives, they are so therapeutic for me. I would love to share more about my experience. It's always changing. So I'm learning as I go, but I would be happy to do more. So comment on that last feed post and let me know if you're into me doing another live. And I will share the link so you can get your own mama necklace for yourself or your loved ones. Okay? Thank you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. Bye.